Hello everyone, I'm Sergiu Draganus. I'm very happy to host this panel today about payments and withdrawal services, the service providers and integrators. So we have today with us Felix, Crisan from Netopia, we have Matt Booth from Axcessms, we have Vytautas from Bankera, Wayne from Trust Payments, and Mihai, Dragan from Oveit. I will let you guys to do a short intro of your projects, and after I will start with the questions. So we can start in the same order that I've mentioned, if it's okay for you. Felix, please.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Felix Crisan. I'm the CTO and co-founder of Netopia. Netopia is a payment service provider operating in Europe. Most of our customers are in Romania. And we operate across a large number of channels, meaning mobile wallets and online and so on, and also with a large number of account funding options, starting from the usual card and SMS, but also we provide crypto payment services for our merchants.
Thanks. Okay, let's go forward. So Matt, please.
Hi, my name is Matt Booth. I'm the business manager over at Access Merchant Services. Brief overview of what we do. So Access have been providing card processing solutions for around 14 years now. And 18 months ago, we gauged a gap in knowledge between exchanges and the banks. And now on a tried and tested network, we've got everything that we need to provide a crypto exchange with everything you need to regulate the regulatory aspects of commercial banking. Via the Crypto.money brand, we can now provide a EU IBAN and card processing solutions in 10 working days.
Okay, thanks. Okay, so Vytautas, please.
Okay, so at Bankera, we are bringing like the full scope of payment services for the crypto businesses, which includes the bank transfers. So we open the payment accounts for them. We also help to get them the processing for the cards. We also help them to get the virtual IBANs and issue them to their clients. And how we are unique? We are unique because we are coming from the crypto space ourselves. Our initial business is cryptocurrency exchange, and now Bankera is our spin-off to bridge the gap between fiat and the crypto. So we understand the needs of the crypto businesses, and we understand the risks and how to manage them.
Thanks. Wayne, please.
Thank you. So I'm representing Trust Payments today. It's a business that's been around for the last 23 odd years. 20 years ago, we launched one of the most secure gateways, which has never been down. One of the reasons for that is it's very robust and very secure, and we found a lot of success processing for crypto merchants. Now we've recently moved to a fully cloud-based infrastructure for our payment solutions, with state-of-the-art collaborations and in-house built software detection and monitoring tools for safety and security. We can process in excess of 110 plus currencies and settle in 14 different currencies, which includes 7 of your European currencies with a pan-European license. We understand the crypto community really well. We work quite closely with a lot of partners as well as exchanges, and we're here today to try and see how best we could help this community grow and develop.
Thank you. Mihai, please.
Hi guys, my name is Mihai Dragan, and I'm the Chief Operating Officer of Oveit. And our key product is AlwaysPay, which is an economy as a service product, which basically operates as a closed loop payment network. And our key customers are anywhere in between large events, stadiums, and smart communities such as smart cities. Where people can use our technology to make sure that their payment processing always stays on, even when the internet is not on. And we allow visitors to top up credit using either fiat currencies, cryptocurrencies, and we use a distributed ledger solution to make sure everything is always on.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thanks.
So again, I will tell only a few words about myself. I'm Sergiu Draganus, the founder of Cohen Pro. Basically, Cohen Pro, it's a framework which stays between the crypto projects and the payment providers, usually, sometimes, for AML scanning, for user onboarding, and for fraud detection and other things like this. What I would like to understand, because I I'm using most of your services or the type of services you are offering. I would like to discuss a little bit about the risks that are present in those type of transactions, and from your experience, to share with us how you are mitigating those risks, or if there is a way to, I don't know, insure or something like this type of risk, because we all know we are talking about crypto, and if we are talking about crypto, then for this type of services, the fraud is always a huge risk on the table. So please share with us your experience in this direction.
I will start. I mean, offering this type of services, and by this type I mean fiat to crypto type services. It's challenging from 2 points of view. One is the regulatory framework, which we, at least some of us, 3 of us, know that it depends on country by country, and the country we are in, it's not so friendly towards this. There are some other European countries which have a more neutral approach. I'm not aware of any country which is really pro crypto, but that's a different story. So besides the regulatory risk and the, having the risk of having your bank account closed without any explanation, just because you have crypto somewhere on your website, between this you have the bigger risk, which we had. So until the banks caught up on this crypto craze around 2017, 2018. With some provisions, you could do this type of services for a crypto exchange or in crypto, in fiat to crypto manner. And in there, especially when we talk about card transaction, the risks are always related to fraudulent transactions, to using stolen cards, even if the cards are, come with a full 3D secure or whatever type of authentication. The rate of chargebacks that we would see around those transactions was considerably higher than the rate of chargebacks for the regular transactions. And yeah, I think that's what I see, the 2 big points from my side.
Thanks. Please. Anyone else want to discuss about this part? I will also be curious to hear what is happening on the bank transfer part from Vytautas. I don't know. I know on the card part, we've started like 2.5 years ago. We've seen many cases. We've optimized a lot our processes in order to cut this down and to lower the risk of this. But on the bank transfers directly, what are the cases there?
Yeah, Sergio, before we just move on to that, I'd just like to touch and just elaborate a bit more on the security aspect as well, because I think that's fundamental, and it's absolutely crucial to get that element right as well. Because over the years, Trust Payments have worked with a lot of businesses who've approached us and said, look, we're very happy doing the traditional bank transfer method, but that is a cumbersome process as it is. At the end of the day, we want to have the customer journey and the customer experience that bit more fluid. So we've gone a step further in providing a gateway that's already AI enabled to detect fraud screening. And in addition to that, we have our ACI Red software, which we could provide to them as well for a small fee. Now, on top of that, when we sign merchants up, we do the Web Shield option as well, which is another third measure of security or certification, just to ensure that the merchant is doing everything by the book. Because at the end of the day, you can only do so much, whether that's the merchant or us as a payment processor. But we have implemented all of these processes, which kind of work in kind of synchronized harmony with each other to mitigate that risk of chargebacks and everything else. And that, coupled with a really good KYC system, it's essentially a no-brainer. The merchants who we process for almost have an up rate of almost 97 to 98% of very, very tight security, and something which we're very proud of as well.
Excellent, thanks. Please. So I have some other question on the table. If you want, we can go to the next ones. Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's call it in the past 6 to 9 months, which are the trends in terms of number of transactions done for crypto transactions? Because we've seen in the past 2018 a huge spike in this direction, and after the number of transactions lowered a little bit. So if you can share with us.
Yeah, I don't mind jumping in on this one. So
please.
We found that many consumers still prefer to buy crypto assets with your debit and credit cards. But we also recently found out that this has got a significant impact on your gross profit margins. So on a recent case study, versus wire transfer at 0.2%, you was looking at 2% gross profit on credit card payments. So what does this mean for you as an exchange? You're getting a higher profit per transaction. Your credit and debit transactions are more geared towards your retail customer. Now, your average transaction, you're looking at about 600 to 1,000 euros. So it's quite a lot less than you'd see on a wire transfer. But again, it does just differentiate the difference in customer profile. Now, in terms of number of transactions, we found that this has got more of a correlation. It differs quite a lot across the industry, and it's got more of a correlation with the profile of the exchange and the level of marketing, as opposed to an across the board market trend. But I mean, I don't know if anybody else is finding different, but that's what we're experiencing.
I can give an opinion from the point of view of a provider that does payment services for merchants. So we allow our merchants to accept crypto in exchange of receiving fiat. The user pays with crypto, the merchant receives fiat. And what I've seen is this. First of all, the average transaction is about 4 times as high as with the card. So a merchant that would have around, let's say, 200 lei, which is, let's say, 50 euros transaction. With the crypto, we will talk about 800 lei, so 200 euros roughly. And then one interesting correlation, which I can't explain, or I can explain somehow, but not entirely, is that whenever there is a big jump in the price, either up or down, the number of transactions increases. I have some explanations, but it's not always very. And at a macro level, meaning compared to 2017 or 2018 to now, the transactions increase, but slowly. It's not a dramatic increase.
The number of transactions, yeah.
Yeah. I think both Matt and Felix made really good points there with regards to the transaction increase. And like you said, Sergio, there's a bit of a fluctuation. Now, we work pretty extensively with a lot of crypto exchanges. And one thing we've noticed, especially in light of this pandemic, it's one of the verticals that successfully has just kept steadily growing. And again, that could be the reason of simply providing them with the option to still pay by card as opposed to bank transfers, where there's a psychological element to it as well, as opposed to someone who's got a credit card who would make a purchase and who would want to trade for higher funds than limiting themselves. So I think all of this has actually kind of catapulted the whole increase in the transactions, which we're particularly seeing from our end.
Yeah, I think I can add something here, given the fact that we operate mostly in a consumer-based type of market. So most of our businesses are done in the live entertainment area. And it's only last year that we started getting requests for crypto payments and crypto top-ups in the events and venues that we were working on. So that from our perspective, we see this as a sign that crypto payments are less of a threat for the end consumer. So there's a lot of people that are adopting it as a means of payment, as they would traditionally do with fiat payments. And there's a lot of platforms out there that are doing a great job in explaining just how crypto can be used for usual use cases, such as actually buying a beer at the bar. And I think that using a combination of crypto and actual real life solutions would be a great step forward for the end consumer.
But how would impact? What would be the impact of the let's call it latency of the crypto transactions right now to the solutions that you are offering? Basically, are you looking for some sort of Lightning Network solutions to integrate, or what are the solutions to be integrated? If someone would like into your system, Mihai, to be able to pay with Bitcoin or something.
Well, our system actually works as a pre-top-up type of payment. So, for example, you might want to go to a big festival and you buy $100 worth of credit, $100 worth of credit using crypto. And when you arrive at the festival, you actually have your $100 on your wristband, and you can buy the beers and the burgers there. And the same goes with a retail network, such as I don't know, a coffee shop network or a large stadium. So basically, using existing solutions, just like CryptoCoin.pro would be, we allow transcendence of crypto funds to real life value exchange in actual offline cases.
Excellent, very interesting.
I can add something here from our experience and from our thinking about this. This is the risk that we take as a payment provider. So the confirmation of the transaction is not something that we will keep the user for on hook in front of the merchant. So as long as we see the transaction in the network, we will confirm the merchant the transaction, and the risk of that transaction not actually confirming, we take it. And it worked 100% of the time so far.
And I can confirm that you guys are doing a great job.
Okay, so the next question on my list here, it's not such a nice one, but how the traditional banks are reacting to the change and which are our alternatives. Okay, so here, Vytautas maybe can help us with an answer from your side.
So I think actually, especially 2 years ago, we saw this paradigm when the banks were saying that Bitcoin is bad, but blockchain is good. And all the banks wanted to be involved in something related to blockchain, but it was so far away from the cryptocurrencies. And now I think now we're a bit on pause. There are more and more banks who actually at least allow their clients to buy the cryptocurrencies. But still, I think it's very far away from the banks would be supporting their traditional crypto businesses like exchanges, because mainly of AML risk, which is much higher than for any other traditional business. But on that side, if you look at from the bank's perspective, the banks are seeing cryptocurrency exchanges as another banks or another financial institutions, which also possesses a very high risk of laundering, fraud, and so on. So don't think the crypto business is unique. I think it's exactly the same as any other financial business, and it's more about how the regulation makes the less corresponding bank relationships, the less interbank relationships, because banks are actually scared about each other. They don't want to take each other's risk, and it's the same about the crypto businesses. And on the other hand, actually, if I move back to the previous question, talking about the crypto as a payment method, because I think and I believe that the crypto is actually a payment protocol, and actually I think that's probably the solution. Then the two parties don't have to take the risk of each other for any reason by using a cryptocurrency instead of using a traditional step or service or other payments. Then you have the legal risk between each other. While in crypto business is more like a cash, so it's like our digital cash. So I think the banks, they're missing out of this, and I think they will miss out at the end just because they cannot take that risk because it's too expensive for them. The market is still small, while the risk is too high for
them. Thanks. What I would like to ask, especially the payment gateways providers now, it's how do they see the balance or the report between crypto to fiat or fiat to crypto and crypto to crypto payments, and if they intend to integrate this type of services in the future in their portfolio the way, for example, Netopia done already. So
yeah, I can kick off with this one. I mean, essentially, as a payment gateway, this is something that we see the value in crypto payments, and it's actually something that we've already integrated in some of our other verticals to merchants in other sectors. We offer kind of a crypto gateway alongside card payments, running side by side. And not only has this been really well received on the merchants that we have trialed this on, they've also seen a 10% increase in their revenue. So it's working really well.
Excellent. Thank you.
I think I can circle back. I think I can add something to the previous question if we can circle back to the bank's aspect. I've seen a lot of difference depending on the places where these banks are placed in. So obviously, I wouldn't talk about Europe because it's such an different situation country by country. So you have a lot of banks that are eager to adapt new platforms in Austria or Germany, but not that many in the Eastern European front. But what I've seen is that there's a lot of interest in anything blockchain technology related in the US. So the banks are actually reaching out, and it's not just the banks, but payment financial institution at large. We had chats with Discovery Cards as well as Visa. There are some very interesting aspects in what's happening in terms of banks, the blockchain, to access to new technology in terms of financial services in Africa. So we had some great experiences there. And there seems to be a lot of growth in the Asian markets, and especially we had some very good experiences in Japan, which is a market that is moving from a more traditional means of doing business, especially in the banking, to a very cashless-based blockchain adapting facial recognition type of hyper-tech society. So I think we should treat the banks on a case by case and try to understand that there's good and there's bad, and a lot of people are seeing the change and just want to jump on the wagon.
Yeah. Wayne, I think you wanted to say something. Yeah.
Yeah, no, to touch on your question about the crypto to fiat and the fiat to crypto, we're currently working with a number of verticals, and one of the verticals that we've seen a lot of growth in is the online gaming and gambling. So we're now working with merchants who are offering tokenized crypto tokens where merchants can go onto them, buy these tokens, and then use them on these gaming platforms to pay as well. We're in talk with a few others as well who've built up a pretty voracious appetite to see how we could then use this as a payout feature as well. And again, it's gaining so much of momentum, and all I can say is that the banks kind of would get worried, but it's about adapting and overcoming the challenges that the crypto market itself is posing. And the more the outreach and the more the want, the more credible it becomes. I remember the time when Sir Richard Branson said that you can do so and so with the booking with Virgin and you can use crypto, and then everyone were like super excited to see, okay, what's next and stuff. So I think it's gaining a lot of momentum, and that's where gateway providers like ourselves, Matt and his team and everyone else on the panel can really up the game in providing a solid solution, not just making that experience a bit better, but offering a line of security that is second to none.
Thank you. So we have only 2-3 minutes left. Guys, where do you see this industry going in 20 years, 50 years from now? I'm very positive on it, obviously, but probably you are too. I only want to get your short feedback. And if we are not going there so fast, what are the bottlenecks for it? So please.
I can start, because if you look from the philosophical reasoning, or the reason why Bitcoin appeared and why this industry is here right now, is that there was a move to take the power from the government and put it in the hands of people. So basically being able to exchange money, which is not government issued, person to person. So I would really much like to see that happening. I don't think we will see it in the next 20 years, but hopefully we will be able to see it in 50 years, meaning non-government issued money, which are widely recognized.
Thank you.
So I would add that there's not that many people talking about TCPIP protocols right now. I see the blockchain market going to a more consumer type of usage, with a lot more usage in smart communities in the future. So I see a lot of mass adoption after the whole technical side becomes a bit subsequent to the actual benefits that the end consumer gets.
Thanks.
Yeah, and you also hear people talking about it a lot as well, Sergio. Well, just to add a personal touch to this, my father-in-law, he's not very tech savvy, and the other day he was asking me, what is this thing that I'm constantly hearing about, this crypto or blockchain? What is it? Then I just gave him a quick, background of what it is and stuff, and he said, oh, that's a cool technology. Does my bank offer this? So it's creating that awareness, and with platforms like this, and with as Mia said, the mass adoption of this is a way where you could see this as literally being the future, and it's good to be part of it as well.
Yeah, guys, thank you for attending to this panel. Thank you for being part of it. As I've mentioned at the beginning of my first panel, as you know, we are tokenizing this event only to show that blockchain can tokenize things, real things, companies, and everything related to companies, trademarks, and things like this. And I'm very happy that in a short period of time in this concept, the Virtual Blockchain Summit, which hopefully will grow, we will all become partners. So, guys, thank you all, and hopefully we'll see each other soon, and also on the next virtual blockchain summits. Thank you. Have a nice one.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.